Hi, today I wanted to talk a little bit about chords. I'm sure you've heard people talk about music as being mathematical, and today I wanted to just show you a little bit about how it is that we apply mathematical formulas to construct chords. So the way that we've been talking about chords in upper hands piano is to say that a major chord is built from the first, the third, and the fifth notes of the pentascale. It's also the first, the third, and the fifth notes of the full scale. You learn the full scale in Book 2. Book 1 we're just working with pentascales. So that's one way to figure it out. Just say, okay, what is the first, the third, and the fifth note of the pentascale? But another way is to apply a mathematical formula to find the major chord. So here we go. Let's say we want to figure out the three notes of the C chord. All we have to do is apply this formula. We have to go up 4 half steps from the root. So 1, 2, 3, 4 to find the middle note, and then 3 half steps from the middle note to find the top note. 1, 2, 3. So we went up 4 half steps from the bottom note, or the root, and then we went up 3 half steps from the middle note, or the third. So this is going to be true in all 12 keys. So let's try it in B flat. Alright, so let's say I don't know the B flat pentascale, but I want to figure out the 3 notes of this B flat major chord. So I'll play a B flat. I will count up 1, 2, 3, 4 half steps, and then 1, 2, 3. So we've got 4 half steps, 3 half steps. That's the formula for a major triad. Let's try it in one more key. How about F sharp? Alright, so I'm going to go up 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then from the middle note, 1, 2, 3, to find the top note. Alright, so our formula for a major triad is to go up 4 half steps, 1, 2, 3, from the root with the bottom note, and then 3 half steps from the middle note to the top note. I also have this written down on today's blog, so you'll see it written, but I also wanted to kind of explain it in person as well. I don't know which will be more confusing. Hopefully either written or watching my demonstration will start to make sense. But if it's confusing, then just keep watching it until it does make sense to you. Okay, let's go back to our C major triad. Alright, so now I would like to figure out how to play a minor triad. So we know that the difference between a major triad and a minor triad is that the middle of the note goes down 1 half step. So that changes our formula. So now instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, it's the opposite. In a minor triad, it's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, let's try it from A. Alright, to get a major triad we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. But to get a minor triad, it's the opposite order. It's 3 and 4. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, let's try another minor triad. Let's start from D flat. So now our formula is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, let's try one more. So maybe F minor. So here's F. We're going to go up 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's F minor triad. Alright, so we know major is 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Minor is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we can use this to figure out any triad, any major, any minor triad, even if we didn't know the 5 notes of the pentascale. Okay, so there's 2 more chords I wanted to talk about, and that is a diminished and an augmented. So a diminished is kind of like a double minor, and what that means is that instead of 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, like we have for a minor triad, a diminished is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So, a diminished chord has that kind of eerie, unsettling sound. It's used a lot in classical as well as in popular music. So to find any diminished chord, you would start from whatever note, let's say B flat, go up 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, now let's try it from D. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Alright, so let's recap the formulas that we know so far. So we know that a major chord goes up 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. A minor chord goes the opposite, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. And a diminished chord does 3 and 3, so 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Alright, so our formulas so far are major, 4 half steps, 3 half steps. Minor, 3 half steps, 4 half steps. Diminished, 3 half steps, 3 half steps. Now let's talk a little bit about an augmented. So an augmented chord is like a double major. And what that means is that it will have 1, 2, 3, 4 half steps, 1, 2, 3, 4 half steps. Alright, so a diminished was 3 and 3. Augmented is 4 and 4. So you can see that with an augmented, the top note, or the 5 of the chord, is now sharp. Alright, so let's find some other augmented chords. Let's start on G. So we're going to go up 4 half steps and then another 4 half steps. 1, 2, 3, 4 to find the middle note, and now another 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 to find the top note. We use augmented chords in classical as well as popular. You probably heard this kind of a figure. So that one is the augmented chord. That one's a 6th, which we'll talk about another time. And that's the regular major triad. Alright, let's find some more augmented. Let's start on E flat and go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's an E flat augmented. Alright, let's take a note and find the 4 different chords. So I've got an E. I want to make an E major chord. I see it in my music. Let's say the chord symbol for an E chord, E major. So I'm going to figure it out using my formula. I know that for a major triad I'm going to count up 4 half steps and then 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Okay. If I want to play an augmented chord, if it says E augmented or E with a sharp 5, sometimes they say sharp 5 or plus 5, but usually augmented is written A-U-G. Okay, so if they want us to play an E augmented chord, we would play it like that because it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, let's go back to the major. What if it's an E minor chord? Okay, then I know that my formula is 3, 4. So I'm going to start on E. I'm going to count up 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, now I see in my music an E diminished chord. It'll be E D-I-M, or sometimes it's E followed by a tiny little circle. That means diminished. Alright, so I'm going to play an E diminished chord by counting up 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Alright, this is something to memorize, but you might want to write it down in your assignment book or something somewhere, what the formulas are. I have them in the blog, but let's just go over it one more time. So, to play a major chord, you start with the root, you go up 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. That's a major. Okay, minor is the opposite order. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Diminished is 3 and 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. and augmented is 4 and 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, hope you're not too confused. So I suggested in the blog that you just try it in some different keys. So just pick a random key like F and say, okay, I'm going to play a major. I'm going to count up 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Now I'm going to play a minor. Count up 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I'm going to play a diminished, 3 and 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And now I'm going to play an augmented, 4 and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's an F augmented chord. So try this in several different keys until it just starts to make sense to you and you start to memorize what those formulas are. So major, from bottom to middle, is 4, and then middle to top is 3. Minor, from bottom to middle is 3, from middle to top is 4. Diminished, from bottom to middle is 3, from middle to top is 3. And augmented, from bottom to middle is 4, from middle to top is 4. Alright, hope that makes sense. Let me know what you think.